Alright, so we're continuing the pick 10 90s with Spawn. Movie that gets a lot of hate for certain reasons. I can see why. This is also the director's cut. I did not notice that until now. So, yeah. And it tells the story of one Al Simmons who is murdered and comes back as the Hell Spawn and leader of Hell's army, and wants to get revenge on the man who killed him and protect his family, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this one a little different. I'm going to go positives and negatives, try to do like a straight review, because I kind of ramble, which is my way, but I was thinking about this during watching the movie for the most part. So, the positives. I'm going to go with the cast on this, for the most part, except for one actor that, well, I'll just say this, and you probably ought to figure out what actor I'm going to talk about. But for the most part, the cast is pretty solid. You have Michael Jai White, who's a guy who, every time I see him, I go, hey, it's the guy from Spawn, and he's always kind of pretty good. You have Martin Sheen, who is a very good villain in this film. I think he's very good at that villain kind of snark tone to him, And you have like D.B. Sweeney and Melinda Clarke. They're good in their roles, even though Melinda Clarke's role is replacing a character that was going to be in the film, Chapel, who's the one that kills Al Simmons in the comics, but they replaced her, and her name is Priest. Her name is Priest in this, and and I even like the guy with the name I can't pronounce, but he basically trains Spawn later, and he ends up with chainmail on. He's got that deep bravado of a voice, and I like the voice performance of the devil, or whatever you call him. It's Frank Welker. You know Frank Welker. He's a Fred from Scooby-Doo, Megatron, bunch of other things his entire career. I think he's now Scooby-Doo now, too. Since Don Messick passed away. But, yeah, he does the voice. I'm pointing out specifically the voice. He kind of comes off a little bit like Claw from Inspector Gadget, but it's also done by Frank Welker, so. But the voice performance is good. I don't have to stress that. I also like the idea of someone, dying and coming back as a hero. Well, he's not really a hero. He's the leader of Hell's armies, but he's sort of an anti-hero type character. I also like that even though he's dead, he makes connections. There's the girl, Cyan, who is I think it ends up being his daughter. I was looking through movies, so I think I missed that part, but I think it ends up being his daughter. Because the way that his partner talks, it's, he's like, about Cyan? And I think that's supposed to be his daughter. And, you're sympathetic for him because he was, he was going to get married. He had a life. He had a friend. And now he went to hell. He comes back. And everything is just different. His best friend is married to his girlfriend, which we'll get to that in the negatives because that's sort of a negative for me. And so he's kind of just, he's a homeless person basically. As you see, he lives with homeless people. I like the connection he makes with Miko Hughes' character, Max, or Zach, or something like that. And he even has the dog, Spaz, which was also the name of the visual effects artist on this film. So that explains the opening and ending titles being very jarring. We'll get to those in the negative section. But yeah, I like that the dog, even though he's dead and he's burnt and he doesn't look like he used to, the dog can still smell him. He still has that scent. And even though he might be a little extra crispy, but he knows that that's Al. He knows that's him, and I like that kind of thing. I also like that he's out for revenge and to help the people that were in his life. And I also like that. I like the little plot line with Martin Sheen where he gets the thing. They have it put to his like a heart monitor, or heart rate thing, and if he dies, then like now he says that the bomb will go off, but then Violator says, that, or Clown, whatever you want to call him, says that it will release a virus. So something's gonna happen when he dies, and I always like that kind of thing in movies and TV where, oh, you shoot me, you kill me, and all hell's gonna break loose. Literally, in this case, I like that. However, now we go to the negatives, and one thing I want to point out is the plot line where he wakes up 5 years later. Why does it have to be 5 years later? And what they do to him. His best friend is now married to the woman he was going to marry. And I always found that, like I've watched this movie like 3 or 4 times now. I always found that to be one of the biggest problems I have with this film is that whether you got close to her or not, or whether you felt something, that's still your best friend's woman. I know he's dead, but don't you have a conscience? I know you're conscious, but do you have a conscience, man? I mean, that's just... Okay, I understand. People are probably screaming at me, but he was dead, or he thought he was dead, and I get that. But, I don't know. It just never rubbed me the right way on that. And, another negative, kind of a big one, John Leguizamo is Clown, a.k.a. the Violator. No. He is the most fucking annoying thing in this movie, and it's like he did a line of cocaine before every time they yelled action. Because he just, hey, Spawny, hey. There's a point where he's a freaking cheerleader. Spawn, he's our man. We can't do it. No one can. And I'm just going. I was honestly praying for someone to shoot me in the head every time that he popped up. When he wasn't around, it was fine. Another thing that I'll get it when I talk to this CGI. Because that's the next thing I'm going to get to. But Clown in this, no. Leguizamo was on too many drugs when he did this movie. As were most of the people who wrote this movie. But now we move to the biggest negative in this film. The CGI. Holy shit, is that terrible. I mean, I made a reference to this during the finale scene where Spawn is fighting off against the devil guy. Does it say the devil guy's name? No. Even a PS1 game would be ashamed to have these graphics. That's how bad they are. I mean, they're terrible. In the words of one Charles Barkley, they're terrible. They're just terrible. They're just terrible. Who could do that? They're just terrible. Take a reference to this, alright? Twister, which came out a year before this, had the better graphics. Now, I looked it up. Spawn had a budget of $40 to $45 million. Twister had a budget of 88 to 92. I almost said 42. To 88 to 92 million dollars. Now that's not too big of a step. It's like $50 million difference, but that's $50 million. They had better graphics for the tornadoes than the graphics for transformations and when Clown becomes a Violator. Wow. And at the end, when he gets his head cut off and he's just like a head CGI blob, green blob thingy. No, it looks terrible. And the final fight with the devil guy is just the worst CGI abomination you've ever seen. It's just terrible. That's why I said the vocal performance was good, but everything else, no. And I kind of pointed this out. I was going to point this out, but the cinematography, when there's no CGI and you just see landscapes and the way the film, because this thing fits the entire screen, which I like with the Blu-ray, it looks good. But then you get the CGI in there and you're like, this movie was not made for HD. I'll tell you that much. This movie was not made for the HD age of Blu-ray. And I hate... Okay, people at Warner Brothers or New Line Cinema, whatever, do not make a 4K of this. If you think the graphics are bad in HD, no, we do not need to see this shit in 4K, alright? I mean, no. I also said it looked like someone threw up on the projector. It's terrible. It's terrible. Now, the movie itself, take out the CGI, and, I mentioned some of the plot points. It's not bad. Ultimately, it sits in the middle of the road for me, and I don't hate it, actually. It's not that bad of a film. Oh, here's another thing. The movie is rated R. Not once do they say the F word. They say hell and damn and asshole, but they never say the F word. This says it's rated R for violence and crude humor. I don't know what humor is, but crude humor. Crude humor. What violence? There's bullets and stuff, but there's not blood. Spawn gets shot, and it's green. That's good enough to put in PG-13. I mean, seriously, that's not even... Also, crude humor. Like what? Clown eating maggot pizza? Him dressed as a cheerleader? Okay, that's good enough to make it R. Don't show the children that. But I'm just saying, what part of this movie makes as much sense being rated R as Annabelle Comes Home. That movie shouldn't have rated R either. There's no swearing. It's not even scary. So I don't understand the rated R-ness of this, But yeah, it's in the middle of the road for me. It's not a bad movie. It's okay. That's why it's in the middle of the road. But what are your thoughts on Spawn? Leave no comments below. We need to pick out our next one. And it's a DVD this time. DVD, as they say in Fat Albert. So that's a Blu-ray. This one. Oh joy! The Brady Bunch movie. I've been wanting to talk about this actually. That was not sarcasm. I am actually happy. It just sounded sarcastic. The Brady Bunch movie. I'll be giving you this tomorrow. From when I'm recording this. I'm putting this up today, so I'll be giving this tomorrow. Tomorrow! But yeah, I have a lot to say about this. I think this is one of the best TV show adaptations they did to a movie. So, yes. So, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.